All right, on this week's episode, we're bringing in the shiny. Yeah, I'm still a little choked at the at Cal Tire for airing these tires up safely in a cage, letting them sit for a while, hitting them with a hammer and verifying that the split rings are actually properly seated and everything's good. And they had them at, I don't know, 80 or 90 PSI, and then they lowered them to 25. Supposedly it's an OSHA rule, it's probably their policy, but now I've got to air these tires back up. So I'm not too worried about the drives, because of course the rings are facing each other, so if a ring lets go, it's just gonna bang into the other wheel. So I'm gonna have to do something a little different on the steers, and we'll get into that later. So what I'm gonna do is torque these all up, and then I bought at Greg's, I bought a bit of an extension so I can click it on and then get out of the way, well, at least a little bit of ways, and then I get to monitor how much air I'm putting in there as well. So we'll try that guy out and hopefully be able to air these tires up without any incident. So it's always good to double check. That one's got a little play in it still. And you're looking for 400 foot-pounds on both the inner and the outer lug nuts or nuts. And as I was mentioning, you can't use a torque wrench in the reverse. Well, maybe if you have a fancy one, but I don't. So what I'm doing is a 4-foot bar extension, and then I figure my weight on it, 200 pounds, is gonna be pretty close to the torque that we're looking for. So one other thing I wanted to mention as well is if you've got an old truck like this with the inner and outer lugs, I highly suggest you get one of these sockets with the square end on it. It's 13/16 and it's a beautiful square edge that fits right over the end of these inner nuts. Now I do have a combination one as well, and this is pretty practical for having in your toolbox because it does both. It does the inner and then does the outer nut outside the other wheel. But the problem I find with this one is because it's reaching over, sometimes as it rattles around in there and you use the impact, the insides kind of get rounded out. So what this can do is start to round off the corners of the square edge of your inner nut there. So I prefer to use this. Now I got this at Greg's. It was pretty hard to come by, so I don't know, Greg's distributors had it. And definitely something you want to have in your toolbox, especially as you start using the impact, because if it's not a tight fit there, it's really going to round those corners off. But yeah, I just want to make sure everything's good and tight. So that makes for a pretty bad day if a lug nut comes off. Well, not a lug nut, but you don't want the whole wheel coming off, right?
Oh! Oh, 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 oh!
Yeah, that's pretty tight. So it's always good to double check. I'll be sure to use the torque wrench on the other side with the right-handed thread. Okay, this is either going to be scary as hell or very uneventful. Hopefully the latter. These friggin' rings better not come off of here. Well, there's about 30 in there, so hopefully that kept it seated. There, 1 down, 9 to go. Waiting for a split ring to fly off is kind of like waiting for a truck to fall through the ice on ice road truckers.
When I first started onto the lake, the ice was all good by until I got out there with this up spot, right? And I didn't know it was that up.
Low probability, probably not going to happen, but you still got to respect these things. And speaking of falling through the ice, you know, I watched that show and no trucks ever fall through the ice, and I had a fan come by and his name was Floyd, big fan of the channel. Hey Hoss, and he was telling me that one of his friends actually broke through the ice, or a guy he knew back in the day on the old ice roads. and they had it hooked on with the tow truck on the line, and then they had to blow up the ice because the ice freezes overnight. It'll freeze right around the truck, so they had to dynamite around the ice, and then as soon as it blew, they started winching the truck out. So it actually happens, and split rings do come off.
The greatest danger when inflating the tire. If the rim components are not assembled properly, air pressure in the tire can force the rim to blow out and strike a mechanic.
Pretty rare. These are two-piece split rings. So they got that wide band around the wheel, and then that pushes on the inner ring, which goes against the inner lip of this wheel. So it should be pretty safe. Again, these were fully aired up, and obviously there was still 20 to 30 PSI in there. So that ring didn't have the opportunity to kind of come unseated, but I'm still gonna be cautious airing these guys up, and yeah, gotta be careful. Okay. That's enough to get the jack out. Yeah. All right, so I got 75 in all four now, without incident. So now I'll let it down and see if it takes the weight. Oh yeah, it's ready for the highway. Okay, so the thing I'm learning as I go here as well is you're also going to want to make sure that you get your correct inner studs, get the right ones. So if you'll notice, one's shorter than the other and one's got a different shoulder. So these ones here, these are for steel wheels. So they've got a flat face that holds the wheel against the hub, and then it's a shorter length because again the steel wheel is thinner. So then it still gives enough material to put the lug nut on the outside there. But the aluminum ones, they're a little different. Again, they've got that different shoulder, that different profile that goes in a little deeper. And the idea is it sits in this recess in the wheel. And then it's actually thicker to accommodate the 3/4 to 1 inch width of the outer aluminum wheel. And then it still gives you enough threads to put the nut on. So make sure if you're mixing and matching steel wheels, which is what I had going on here, I actually noticed I was using a few of these on the steel wheel and I was using a few of these on the aluminum wheel. So make sure you get that straight. Okay. That was a bit of work, but I got 75 PSIs in all, oh, I gotta go a little higher. In all four, well, all 8. And not a single ring came loose. Oh, nice stance. Oh, that is looking good. So I saved the best for last. Now I got to do the steers, but that is really looking nice. Okay, so here's the steer tires, and a little more of a challenge because obviously when I mount it on the front hub there, the ring can come flying off. It won't have another wheel inverted in front of it to kind of capture that ring. So when I air it up, I mean, odds are I had 8 with no issue, but still, got to respect these things, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the wheel on the hub, and then I'm going to run a chain through 2 sides and around the tire, and then we'll air it up. And that way, if the ring did let go, the chain should catch it and keep it from blowing a hole either in the side of my shop or doing some damage to my Pete. Like I say, better safe than sorry. Oh, and special shout out to Stefan at Spectrum Polishing. I mean, look what he did. This is what it looked like when we started. And that's what it looks like when he was finished with it. I mean, he's an absolute perfectionist. That has to be better than what it looked like when it came out of the factory. I guarantee Alcoa didn't get him this shiny. I mean, the guy, he won't stop until it's done right. Okay, so again, probably overkill, but I'd rather capture this ring if it does come out of here. So Steph was telling me, make sure you put some blue tape down because aluminum is just so darn soft and it's just so polished up that you don't want to wreck it with the chain. So he said, put some blue masking tape down and then put duct tape over top, which I did. And a lot of people are probably saying, oh, well, you know, you can use the hooks on the end of the chain to lock it in. Yeah, I'm aware. Problem is the hook is just a little too big. So I had to get these little couplings. Okay, that should be held on there nice and tight. And the good part is this valve stem, I can come at it in from behind. There it is up there. So I'll give the wheel a little spin and I can be safely behind it. So if the ring does blow off, it blows off in that direction and won't take my head off. Man. People just don't realize the lengths I go through to make this truck movie correct. Now there's 40. Halfway there. Again, I don't think these rings are going to move, but I think it's worthwhile putting in a little extra effort. Just in case. You never know what's going to happen, right?
Tests have shown that after being struck by an exploding wheel, a 215-pound dummy will be blown 10 feet off the ground.
I could think of a lot of other things that I'd rather be doing right now. Oh man, we're close. Those rings moved yet? I haven't heard any creaking. It's pretty much 85. Okay, success. Ring didn't pop off. And did nobody die?
One man lost a pinky.
But did nobody die?
Almost makes me not want to put the chain on the other and do the other side. But better safe than sorry. Okay, I guess what I'll do now is let it down and put a load on it. Front of this truck's a little heavier than the back for some reason. All right, chains out of the way. Oh, look at that. She likes it. Okay, one more to go. Oh, that looks awesome. What do I always say? Just like the movie?
Bet your ass on that boy.
Yeah, I don't see any shifting of the ring or any abnormal gaps. The old timers that used to do this all the time are probably just yelling at the screen. Come on, you sissy. You don't need a safety chain. Yeah, I think that's good. Sitting at air pressure, sitting on the tire, or holding up the front of the truck, I think I'd probably take the chain off because I need it for the other side. And there's 85. Oh man. Oh. Oh. After this, they'll call me the split ring king. Okay, well, taking another look there, it still looks good and tight. Yeah, okay, so now what I'll do is I'll let it down and then I can torque those and we should be good. I want my, uh-oh, that ain't cool. What happened? Oh no. Hey, Jack. Oh, that sucks. What, am I missing a part? How the hell? Oh. My walker jack. Ah, damn it. So what happened is this little drive shaft came off of here. I must have just sheared the cotter pin. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Well, I could put a nail in there or something. What do I got? Anything laying around? Ah, damn it. Use one of the cotter pins from my chain. Nice timing on this giving up the ghost. Good as new. Okay, put about 400 on the front. That ought to hold it. And again, as I mentioned, unfortunately I can't use a torque wrench on the other side because of the left-handed thread, because there's only, where is it? Torque direction. It's only the one way to tighten. There probably is bi-directional torque wrenches out there, but oh yeah. You know what, that Milwaukee, it's got different settings for torque. Oh yeah. And I think the number 3 gets you to a good semi-truck. It's 1 to 4. And number 3, if you really ugga-dugga it, it gets them good and tight in forward or reverse. Oh yeah, nothing to worry about. These are plenty tight. But I got enough to worry about with the, oh, that one was close. Yeah, that's good. I got enough to worry about with the split rings coming off. I don't want the lug nuts coming off too. Okay, I think that is done. That was a surprising amount of work. But the truck is officially a roller again. So getting real close to that first drive. I can't wait. Okay. Well, the ring hasn't popped off, so I guess I can take off my safety chain. Who says you need a tire cage to do split ring rims to inflate them up? A Princess Auto chain does just dandy. See? I didn't wreck it, Sheriff.
See? I didn't wreck it, Sheriff.
Yeah, that tape was a good idea. Again, in hindsight, probably didn't need the chain, but you never know.
Better to have that and not need it than it is needed and not have it.
I think in this case, if you needed it and didn't have it, it would make for a bad day. But old Dr. Tire, he did a good job. There. Oh, damn it. Of course. Okay, so now that it's sitting on its proper 22-inch wheels and tires, this is gonna be the height that it's gonna ride at. I wanted to check the stacks again, just to see how much over 13.6 we ended up. There we go. Okay, moment of truth. Oh boy, 165 and a half. So I'm 13.9 and a half. I'm about 13.10, almost. Yeah, pretty much 13.10. That's pretty tall. I might have to take the tips off to come out, but when we get it running and driving and finish bolting the rest of the stuff on there, I guess we'll find out. I'll drive up close and see. Like I say, worst case, I gotta take the tip off. Okay, so the one other thing that I have stuff and polish up is the Movie Correct toolbox and battery box covers. And when I say they're Movie Correct, they don't have that notched out step that I had on here before. So what do you think of that? Oh man, is that ever looking sharp? I know I say it a lot, but I'm really happy with the way that turned out. So happy, in fact, I think that deserves a little celebration. That was actually a lot of work, but none of the split rings came off yet. And yeah, it's shiny. I like the look of it a lot. I know the movie truck kind of had faded. I think they were trying to portray that they didn't have a lot of money, because remember he said we're going to use the $80,000 to buy a new rig, so they kind of trying to make it look like it was an older worn out rig. So I know the wheels were all faded, and same with the battery box covers and fuel tanks. But again, I'd like to think that after they got the $80,000 from the Burdettes, they put a little money in and polished up the Bandit 2. Oh man, I'm getting excited now. It's getting close. It is getting close. So yeah, that's it. I still need to put on the mirrors, the CB antennas. I've got I think I've got a solution to the problem I had last week when I couldn't get the truck running. I had a mechanic friend give me a good tip, so I think I got an idea for that. And what else? What else needs doing? I'm still going to wire the lights, but again, for a test drive, I suppose I could just get the mirrors on and get the truck running. I should swap the oil in the diffs and the trans, but what I might do is go for a test drive, try and warm up that oil and then drop it out of there, take all the sediment and whatever else that's been sitting in there for the last decade. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. So the goal is to get it on the road before the snow flies, and I think I'm gonna get there. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and yeah, thanks for following along, and don't ever forget, if you got it, a trucker brought it.